You're safer inside the walls.
I'm sorry. I'll just be a minute.
You had a minute. Next one comes out of your pay.
Ease off the threats, friend. I'm going.
Boss's orders. We all got quotas to make.
There's the cannery. There's the cantina. Is this an entryway?
A friend of mine died a couple weeks back. Still ain't past it.
I know how you feel. Another day at the cannery.
It's not the best choice, it's Spacer's choice. And before you ask, I'm all out of deluxe salt tuna. All I've got is gourmet.
I need to fix the ship. You know where I can find parts?
You ought to go have a talk with the boss, Reed Thompson. He's up in his tower above the cannery.
Let's see what you have other questions.
Go right ahead.
What's your take on this place?
What, you mean Edgewater? That's a peculiar question. This a test? Am I being tested right now? It's, fine and dandy. Couldn't be happier. Wouldn't want to spend my life working anywhere else. Prettiest little town on Terra 2.
I'm glad you're so optimistic.
I have every reason to be. I caught a real break working in a place like this. I don't get paid for banter. Was there something you needed?
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Anyone I should watch out for?
Other than yourself? Definitely the vicar. Don't get me wrong. He seems a decent man, cut from church cloth, knows his scriptures. But there's something about him that bothers me. Like he's not one of us. Sometimes I suspect he doesn't even want to be here.
Yeah, can you tell me about the plague that's supposed to be going around?
Plague? I don't know anything about a plague. We are the very picture of hot-blooded physical vigor.
Is there a reason you feel like you have to hide what's going on?
You have got the wrong idea about me. I've got nothing that needs hiding. Some of us who get sick are liable to exaggerate the conditions of that sickness, but the fact is, if you work hard, you have got no cause to worry.
What do you mean by that?
Survival of the fittest. It ain't just the law of nature, it's company policy. Medical treatment is commensurate with our value to society. Spacer's Choice will dispense medicine for the indispensable worker. Natural selection at work.
And if you don't work hard enough?
Then the hand of medical science will not grace you with its touch, and you must recover on the virtue of your own grit. Listen, you mind if we talk about something else? Rambling about company policy gets me feeling all lightheaded.
See what you got.
Music to my ears.
Your murder skills equal to the value of your best dialogue skill and use to negotiate prices when buying from and selling vendors. Alright. Well, that's buy. I want to see sell. Because cheese some crow. Are these identical? Yeah, light pistol and light pistol. No modifications, so... There is an assault rifle, but I'd really like something with a scope. Can I actually afford any of them? That's the other question. I probably could. Neither one really seemed like a good idea to me. I don't have enough of that one. Alright, let's see armor, because I really have, like, none. Alright. Nothing really of use. I'm gonna have to look between every building at this point, considering I just found that little trove. Let's not go in there yet. That's the corporate building? Yeah, it's the corporate building.
Don't make me report you to Mr. Thompson.
Yeah. That's the cantina. That's a general store.
Please don't touch anything. Your hands are probably crawling with germs. Physical hygiene recapitulates moral hygiene. Cleanliness is next to lawfulness.
I can show you my hands.
No, thank you. That's quite all right. I've seen enough body parts in my line of work. I'm Conrad. You will report to me if your hair fails to meet Spacer's Choice aesthetic standards. You will also report to me in the event of your death, whereupon I will clean and prepare your remains for interment.
Yeah, speaking of which, Silas sent me to collect your dues.
Ah, gravesite fees. Silas and I had talked about this at length. I thought I'd made it clear my pecuniary situation precludes the necessary restitutions.
You mean you're broke?
As broke as pie crust, friend. Bidless, indigent, destitute. I simply cannot afford it. I am a blemish on the prosperity of our fair settlement. When I expire, I expect Silas to toss my body into a ditch.
That's some quality drama, Conrad. You should audition.
Thank you, no. I despise the serials. Tell Silas I can't afford to pay. And that I fully expect to have my medical rights revoked for this dereliction. With my apologies.
Hang on, medical rights?
Some time ago, I fell ill with the plague. By the grace of the law, and through my own hard work, I'd proven worthy of treatment. Frankly, I don't imagine I'll earn that right a second time. The barber work hasn't been profitable, you see. I've had to keep this old place running with my own savings.
So just get Silas an IOU.
Not a bad idea. But I'd need some kind of collateral. My pair of lucky clippers. No, that won't do. Your idea intrigues me, but I'm afraid I don't have anything to give Silas. I'm open to suggestions.
Well, you know if I think of anything.
Much obliged.
Conrad, receptionist shot himself. This is bad. Company's going to have to call it for what it is. Destruction of Spacer's Choice property. Eugene was an asset and somebody has to pay for his body price. This is going to ruin us. So I think that we pawned off his teeth. Eugene had a full set of gold teeth. Heirloom passed down from his family or something. You're processing his body, right? Just dig around and pry them out. We'll sell the teeth somewhere nice and quiet. Use the bits to pay his body price and nobody's the wiser. What do you think? Don't write back. In fact, don't talk to me at all. Just give me a special signal next time you see me. Wiggle your eyebrows. Phyllis G.
What can I do for you?
Pretending you've had some training. I know a thing or two about medicine.
Oh? Am I in the company of a fellow doctor?
I'm guessing you were trained at medical school.
Experience was my teacher. Experience and... So, you want to be an embalmer. Brochures 1 through 5. Courtesy of the Spacer's Choice Department of Career Development.
Can we get more conversation?
Go ahead.
What do you know about the plague?
The plague's come at us with a vengeance this year. Lost 6 workers in as many months. I wouldn't call them good workers, mind you. If they were any good, they'd have been treated. Still, it is a shame.
What are the symptoms?
Fever, chills, fatigue, aching, vomiting, an excess of phlegm, a tendency towards belly aching.
It sounds a lot like the flu.
Whatever it may be, I have developed my own palliative. Boiled canid liver and a splash of ethanol.
Why don't you treat all your workers?
Company policy, friend. We don't have enough medicine to treat all of us. so we treat the best among us.
Whose idea was that?
Mr. Thompson's brainchild. Have you met him yet? Thoughtful-looking fellow, stares out of his office most hours.
You seem pretty enthusiastic about this place.
Edgewater has been good to me. I consider myself privileged to work here. I am never wanting for work, not since the plague started.
Sounds exhausting.
As the good vicar says, work fortifies the spirit of a man. If you want to feel exhausted, try not having any work.
That's it for now.
What can I do for you?
Looking to repair my ship.
A ship? Dear me. You seem to have lost the ability to distinguish between reality and fantasy. This is what happens when you let your imagination run wild. I don't approve of fantasizing. It's a dreadful habit, corrosive to the mental faculties. You ought to let the vicar take a look inside your head.
You're a vicar.
Vicar Maximilian, our man from the OSI, here to spread the message of scientism like a soothing balm upon a feverish head. Or so you'd expect. You'll find him in our local church, probably neglecting his duties.
You don't seem to like him much.
He doesn't seem to like us much. The vicar has not been with us long, and in his relatively short tenure in Edgewater, gives off the distinct whiff of superiority. Go ahead.
I'm not going to ask about the gold teeth just yet. I think I need to get a little bit more information. Maybe some more leads.
Keep your distance, friend. Sick house is no place for a traveler.
For now, I'll avoid the sick house.
Another day at the cannery.
Don't go knocking your work. At least we've got one.
Let's see what I can find out here.
Read the latest report.
Only the part that said we ain't making our quotas.
I don't know you.
Alex Hawthorne, captain of the Unreliable.
Uh-huh. The Unreliable, you say? Never heard of any company supply ship with that particular name. I don't know what you're about, but this here's a Spacer's Choice drinking establishment. We're all loyal, hard-working company folk here.
Something going on here that I should know about.
Am I that easy to read? Yeah, we've been having some problems lately. Loyalty issues, lines in the sand. I know where folk in Edgewater stand. But you, I don't know you. If you're gonna have a drink, I'd like to ask that you do it within the premises. Can't have you taking drinks over to those deserters.
What about these deserters?
Traitors. The lot of them. Bunch of folks decided they were tired of working and went out into the wilds to fend for their own selves. Town's already struggling to make quotas, even without that band of slackwits abandoning their posts. Bunch of lazy, shiftless rung leeches. Anyway, enough about them. What can I do for you?
I want to talk to Reed. Where can I find him?
Do you now? And what makes you think Mr. Thompson wants to talk to you? He's a busy man. You want to talk to Mr. Thompson, try ignoring your duties. He'll summon you up to that great big tower atop the cannery, and you'll get yourself a proper dressing down.
You think that's a good thing?
It is a good thing. If you're not pulling your weight, you don't deserve to live here. Simple as that. Go ahead.
So what's your story?
I don't see how that's any of your business.
Yeah, I guess not.
Will there be anything else?
For now, no. Actually, can I get the other option?
Oh, I almost forgot. I'm contractually obligated to recite company slogans to any visitors. We'll get you mostly drunk at half the price. Spacer's choice. Go ahead.
Let's keep our origins a bit close to the chest, shall we? Tempting. Every little tool helps. Mm-hmm. Ooh boy. I could crack my way in, but that would go through a lot of my mag picks.
Been eating nothing but salt tuna for a year.
Hey, you hear about Wilson?
It's alright. I got a lot to do. Just gotta keep our heads up.
Just gotta keep our heads up.
Sorry, I've got a lot to do.
Never know. One hand, severed the rest. Some bone damage. Maiden's fee will be deducted. Yeah, nothing like else it looks like. Eesh. I could use the mag picks, to be honest, but... Alright.
The grease monkey, Argo?
I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson, sir. You asked why it's taking so long to fix. The answer's technical.
Don't apologize. Just try using small words for me.
The cans bust open in the oven because she's set to cook saltuna, which isn't what we've got. Mr. Thompson? I think there's someone here to see you.
Focus, Miss Holcomb. You and I are still talking. Let's start over. Walk me through the process. Show me where it's going awry.
Well, sure. It's, mostly on account of what we're feeding into the mechanism.
It puts food in cans. We have food, we have cans. Why won't it work like we need?
She's expecting saltuna of a certain size. We're filling the cans with, well, not fish.
You guys ready for me to come in yet?
Seems we've got a guest. Really now, Parvati, I do wish you'd spoken up. I do apologize. I was given no forewarning of your arrival, or I might have welcomed you at the gates myself.
Are you Reed? I was told I should talk to you.
I'm Reed Thompson, Outpost Administrator. I cannot help but notice you are not in uniform.
I think you may have the wrong idea about me.
Yes, so it dawns on me. Seems I allowed my excitement to run away with my wits. Been a few seasons since we've had a visitor pass through.
Don't plan on staying long.
I understand. Your business is your own. Nonetheless, you are welcome in our little outpost. Outsiders are a rare sight in the Vale. If you are a freelancer, then I have use for you. There is pay to be earned, or supplies to tide you over, as you prefer.
What sort of help?
The sort of work for which I cannot spare my own people. I am in the midst of a difficulty, the resolution of which requires a third party. You. There's an old botanical lab, mostly abandoned now, but still eating up power from our plant. Power which our cannery sorely needs. I need you to go to the geothermal plant and reroute power from the botanical lab over to us. Simple as that.
When you say mostly abandoned, what do you mean?
I was not entirely sure how to tell you this. The botanical labs are not legally inhabited, but there are people who live there.
You mean marauders? Marauders aren't people.
The people living in the botanical labs. They're deserters, former workers. I need them back at their posts. I need them to come home.
Tell me what I need to do.
My hope is that by cutting off their power, you will convince those deserters to come back to town. Before you go to the plant, I want you to stop by the botanical lab. Speak to their leader, Adelaide. Tell her the power's about to go, and that it's time her band of deserters came back to town.
How will I recognize Adelaide?
Adelaide's older than the other deserters. She's dignified, kindly. From what I understand, her camp looks to her for leadership.
And what if she doesn't want to come back?
That is not a hypothetical I enjoy entertaining. We need Adelaide back. Nonetheless, I will settle for the return of her followers. We belong to one community, the Spacer's Choice family. If we dissolve into factions, then we will all perish separately. Adelaide will understand that.
Can't make any promises.
Of course, I understand completely. Here, let me give you the passcode to the geothermal plant. A sign of good faith for so politely listening to me as I ramble on.
Are you setting off for the Vale? Because I know my way around. I mean, in case you want a guide. I mean, if that's all right with you, Mr. Thompson. Sir.
I hesitate to part ways with Miss Holcomb, but I cannot deny that she is talented and may prove useful to you.
Sure.
Great! I got my wrenches and diagnosticators and hairpins and engine tape, so I'm all set.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Best of luck to you, and thank you again for your help. It is a lot to ask of a stranger, I know.
Let's get going. CNP New Management Seminar. Companions. You've gained a companion. They are characters that join you in your adventures and help in a variety of ways. Companions provide combat support. Their skills enhance your skills. They increase your carrying capacity. You can unlock special companion combat abilities with the Inspiration skill. Learn more about your companions in the Companion Ledger.
Hey, ma'am, can we talk? Sorry. Sorry. You just want to get out of here. And you likely don't want to tag along like me. It's just, Mr. Thompson has his own view on matters, on account of it's his job and what all, but that's not the only side of the tale.
Is it about the deserters? Go on.
To Mr. Thompson, a person's a gear. It does its job quiet-like. If it squeaks or stutters, it gets replaced. The deserters are decent folk. I knew some of them before they left.
How well did you know them? You work with them? You were friends? What?
I don't know anybody well. I mostly listen to them talk, kept my head down. There was a boy named Thomas who used to follow me around, asking questions about the stuff I fixed. He was real sweet to me. Not any sort of dissident.
You know Adelaide?
Miss McDevitt? Oh, gosh, no. She was a real important person. A flavorist. Made all the food taste decent. She used to work up in the big office with Mr. Thompson. All I know is she left after her son died. It was a real big to-do. I could hear them both yelling clear from my own place.
You can't leave it at that. What were they arguing about?
Can't say as I know. I wasn't there. The sound carried, but not the words. If Mr. Thompson ain't of a mind to tell you his own self, you'd best ask Miss McDevitt, if you can get out to her.
I'm sure the deserters are fine people. So what?
Mr. Thompson's aiming to take away their power. They'll have no lights to see, nor heat to cook. They'll be at the mercy of marauders, or worse. It don't seem right to me, ma'am. I think you should talk to the town's vicar about it. Max, his name is.
Where would I find
The
him?
mission's on the east side of town. You can't miss it, on account of it being the only clean thing.
I suppose it couldn't hurt.
Thanks, ma'am. I just think when you gotta make a decision that'll hurt somebody, it's best to think on the right and wrong of it. That's what my dad used to say anyways.
Alright then. Now... have I collected everybody's? I've collected Ludwig's. Phyllis is one of the 4 people. She works as a supervisor in the cannery. She works as a supervisor in the Edgewater cannery. Alright. Can we find her?
What? Inside voices.
Query, Geos... We're not gonna take the power regulator out just yet. I mean, we could. Where is Phyllis? Well, that's leading out of town. That's a barber. Probably the house. So... How do I get to Phyllis? So, obviously, sprats are what's being fed into the salt tuna plant.
You the new worker? Whatever. Make it quick, Tenderfoot. I'm busy.
Gravesite fees. I'm here to collect.
Shit. Silas still on about that. Here, take the fees. I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell Reed I was late on my payment.
These papers aren't signed in your name.
Because they're not my fees and not my gravesite. Guy I worked with shot himself. I paid the bill.
That's kind of you, I guess.
I could do without the sarcasm. Wasn't acting out of the goodness of my heart. Law requires delinquent gravesite fees to be paid by the deceased party's closest living relative, which meant me. Shame, though. Eugene was a good worker.
He shot himself?
Woke up one morning and put a round through his upper story. Can't imagine why. The kid was doing all right at his desk. We all thought he was an upstanding receptionist. Just between the two of us, I'm pretty shocked his weapon didn't misfire. Spacer's Choice handguns aren't the most reliable.
Thanks. Must be tough losing family.
Eugene wasn't family.
Thought you said you were the closest living relative.
Yeah, I was the closest living person relative to his body at time of death. I'm the one who found him, you see, so I pay the fines. Suicide's a crime. The legal term is irreparable damage to company property. What Eugene did to himself was vandalism.
What's they gonna do? Arrest his corpse?
When one of your workers commits a crime, the entire town pays for it. In other words, Edgewater would have been penalized pretty hard. Whatever Eugene was worth as an asset, we would have had to pay out of pocket to Spacer's Choice.
He was a person, not an asset.
Well, excuse you. I'll have you know, Eugene was an asset to us all. May his atoms be commended to the law. All I know is Silas asked me for Eugene's gravesite fees, which means he was approved for burial, which means his papers went through, which means the town's in the clear. I'm just glad to put this whole ugly affair behind me. Eugene can rest his bones in peace, and the rest of us can get on with our own lives.
I'll let you get back to work then.
What's on your mind?
So I'm guessing you're the foreman?
Foreman Granger. Mind those words don't come out of your mouth unless preceded by yes or right away or thank you. I paid his burial fees, didn't I? Let the dead sleep.
I found your letter to Conrad.
Didn't anyone ever tell you not to go rifling through other people's correspondence?
No, I'm a protagonist. You're planning on stealing his teeth.
Excuse you. Eugene's body and all rare earth minerals contained therein already belong to Spacer's Choice. And we're all part of the Spacer's Choice family here. Never mind. I don't have to explain myself to you. What's on your mind? Yeah?
Alright. So you won't talk to me anymore about that. Okay, fine. Oh. Okay. Sorry, I'm a fast reader. For 4 bits, not really worthwhile. Yeah, we still got the other guy, don't we?
You think corporate's ever gonna visit?
There's something outside the walls.
So there's the barber shop, which is there.
Nothing for us outside the walls.
Martin Abernathy.
Been eating nothing but salt tuna for a year.
Inside this building.
Wish we had some better rations.
Is there a way to get on the roof? Maybe? There's an idea.
This is where the magic happens. Well, science. But it still happens. My dad's... It's an office. Oh, you like flowers? I can't find many kinds around here.
Now the trick is seeing if I can get out to the roof.
I don't like coming out here. People on the street. Hey, that's... I mean, if you need it, okay.
Now, can I actually get to the roof? No, doesn't look like it. Ow. Alright, so how do we get into this
Almost
resident?
lost a finger in the cannery today.
The way it goes, I suppose.
Yeah, why couldn't I open it before?
Yes, Mr. Thompson. I'm fine, Mr. Thompson. Never been healthier. Whoa, did Mr. Thompson send you? Well, you tell Mr. Thompson I'll be right at my post. Tomorrow. Bright and early tomorrow. Because I'm definitely not plagued. As spry as a spring chicken. That's old Abernathy.
You want to tell me what's got you so nervous?
You some sort of wandering alienist? Walking into a man's own domicile, pestering him about his mental state?
I'm positive you mentioned something about being plagued.
You don't know that. I could have been saying anything. Maybe I said vague. You know how words sound a mite strange when you're sick. Wait, no. Oh, damn it. Okay, listen. Maybe I am feeling a little under the weather, but I swear I'm on the mend. Please, don't tell the constable.
Why not?
She'll toss me in the sick house. I would have confessed before the good vicar. Get some ablutions for my spirit. Just never found my courage is all. Hey, you're hale and healthy and possibly for hire, ain't ya? Do a good turn for an expiring old man?
What do you need?
Couple hours out of your day and some light second-story work. That's all. There's a cache of anthracillin tucked away in the old community center. Powerful stuff. Stronger than what we got, anyway. I need you to break in, nab that medicine, and bring it back to me.
Sure.
You oblige me with your haste. think I feel the plague spreading. Oh, Law, it's in my spleen now. I can feel it.
Anything I should know about this community center?
Just keep your head down when you're in there. Marauders have taken over. Probably tracking mud all over the archives.
That said, I am here to collect your gravesite fees.
Silas knows, doesn't he? That's why he sent you. That's why he wants me to pay up. He knows. Look, I got my gravesite fees right here. See? I'm good for my word. Get me that medicine, and I'll see to your payment.
You're taking an awful risk trusting me, you know.
I know that, but I got nobody else to turn to. Reed would have wrote me up. Constable would have locked me up and wrote me up. Could have gone to see the good vicar, but I never did find my courage.
I'll leave you be. Ah, it's stealing. Well,
Making a mistake working for Abernathy.
then there's just the plague house I should probably investigate, but probably not right now.
Hey, Miss Parvati. Come for a visit?
Not today. Just helping this lady.
Lovely to see you about, Miss Parvati.
Things going all right, Silas?
Been keeping him careful and true, miss.
What are you talking about?
Best to ask her yourself.
My dad's buried here. Silas watches over him when I can't leave the house.
Sorry, Parvati.
Oh. Well, thanks.
Something I can do for you?
About those... We need to talk about Eugene.
Yeah? What about him?
You first. I know you buried him.
Well, yeah. It's what I'm contractually obligated to do. What's this about?
Solid gold teeth could be worth something if you pulled them out.
Yeah. Funny thing, Eugene's body ain't where it's supposed to be. The night we was supposed to commend his body to the earth, I had his grave all dug up and ready, right? And so I thought, I'll just rest my eyes a bit. When I woke up, his body was gone. Spirited away. Vanished. The footprints nearby suggested that Eugene was stolen by marauders. Or he rose from the dead.
Great, zombies. I'll keep an eye out for them, I guess.
Let me know if you find anything.
About those fees.
You run into any trouble?
Conrad says he can't afford to pay.
Conrad's barbershop is a yawning pit that swallows his every bit. I keep telling him he should cut a few corners. Skimp out on the disinfectant. You gotta put the squeeze on Conrad. Find some dirt on him. Maybe check his back room.
Are you suggesting extortion?
Well, that's the word, extortion. Been on the tip of my tongue all day.
Alright. Well, we still need to talk to the vicar. Interesting. I get the feeling I'm going to need a shovel at some point, but I'm not sure if I want to feel like stealing it right now. Now, where is the Vika?
I've been feeling pretty low these days.
At least you got your health.
Is the barber? No. It's Abernathy.
Oh, I cut my own hair.
What can I do for you?
Persuade one.
You know about Eugene? How?
I found a note from Villas. I'm a mind reader.
You were probably poking around my things. I really shouldn't leave my letters sitting out in the open. Eugene's golden teeth were a family heirloom, representing 3 generations of poor dental hygiene. He took them to his grave.
You're probably worth a few bits.
More than a few. Those teeth were his personal savings. I can't ask Silas to dig up a man's body and pry a few teeth loose from his jaw just to pay my bills. Can I?
Are you asking rhetorically? Because if you're being serious... Ugh, gross.
Desperate measures, Miss Holcomb. Desperate measures. I'm going to have to ask Silas to dig up those teeth. It's the only way I'm paying my gravesite fees.
Are you sure about this?
I'm sure that I have no other choice. Here you are. Gravesite papers affixed with my signature and an IOU.
I'm told Eugene killed himself. What happened?
Eugene was not a suicide. He put a bullet in his brain, yes, but that's largely a technicality. I was the one who prepared Eugene's body for interment. I discovered symptoms of the plague on his corpse, and I discovered medicine in his pocket. Lots of medicine. Eugene overdosed on adrenatime, which is known to cause psychosis and paranoia as possible side effects. The paranoia drove him to take his own life.
So the town never had to pay a penalty.
We can all thank our lucky stars that young Eugene was hopped up on medication and suffered its predictable side effect. I included it all in my official report. I'd like to think I saved Edgewater a great deal of money. We never could have paid the fines associated with a suicide. What can I do for you?
Alright. Now, let's see if we can find the Vika. Well, that is definitely a clean building. I'll give you that. But I don't think that's it.
Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing with myself.
We should keep our voices down.
I appreciate the company and all, but you really ought to leave. You don't want to be seen around me.
I go where I want.
Hey, keep it down. That kind of talk's bound to put sights on the both of us. I'm in about as much trouble as I can be. No reason you ought to be tarnished by association. People are gonna talk.
What's going on here?
Figured it was obvious. I got sick. Couldn't get better on my own. Got moved here for everyone's sake. Maybe you don't know this, but there's a real simple reason you don't talk to the plagued. You don't want what we've got.
I've got some training. I can take a look at you.
Don't. Please. I could get into a lot of trouble.
You obviously need help.
That's kind of you to say, I suppose. But I don't need help. What I need is to understand my own folly. Company always tells us weak spirits lead to weak bodies. If I didn't want to fall sick with plague, maybe I should have worked harder. Maybe I should have taken more pride in my work.
That's ridiculous. You can't blame yourself because you fell sick.
I really wish you wouldn't say those sorts of things. I told you once already. People could be listening. I'm feeling a touch faint. If you don't mind, I'd like to be alone for a spell. I've never seen an outfit like yours before. You're not from around here, are you?
I'm not going to steal from the plagued. Yet.
What? Who is that? Take him down, please! Company ammo! Huh? Thought I saw something. Put him down! Stay down, miscreant!
But there's just a fight out here?
Spacer's Choice takes care of its own.
Alright, let us see. Where the heck is the vicar? Is this it?
I've always felt weird in here. It's too clean.
Yes, what is it? You're an outsider. Fantastic. Vicar Maximilian de Soto at your service. Or Vicar Max if you're the sort who prefers brevity. And Ms. Holcomb as well. How rare to see you out. And with a complete stranger. Curious.
Just tagging along, Vicar DeSoto. Don't mind me.
I so rarely get new people to talk to. Name your poison. Anything at all. Spiritual counseling? This season's tossball predictions? The quickest way out of town?
Bavati, wanted to talk to you.
I thought you would talk to him.
You wanted to speak to me, Ms. Holcomb? Every time I've tried to engage you in conversation, you look at the floor, answer in single words, and slink away. I can't imagine what would be so grave as to drive her to my mission. What has Mr. Thompson asked you to do? Depriving them of safety from the marauders and wildlife. I can see why that troubles you. Miss Holcomb has a soft heart. Always has, if you believe the talk.
What do you think of Adelaide's group?
They rejected the order of society and live beyond the walls so thoughtfully provided by our Spacer's Choice patrons. Does that strike you as a responsible life choice?
Really? I don't have one intelligence? Weird. So what do you advise?
Assuming your goal is to save as many as possible, then you should bring everyone together. Send the power to Edgewater and convince the deserters to return to the fold.
Sounds like I got my work cut out of me.
If you don't mind a bit of unsolicited advice, be cautious on your way to the geothermal plant. It is not as safe as you might assume.
And why is that?
One of the reasons I transferred here was to fulfill my duty in hunting down banned heretical texts. I happen to know such a book is, as we speak, tainting a collector's library in Emerald Vale. However, the collector's residence lies outside the town's walls. My retrieval efforts have been thwarted by marauders who have overrun the property. Should you fare better than me, I'd pay a handsome sum for the book.
A handsome sum. Tell me more.
It's a handwritten journal. A faded blue cover with the name Mbakonu handwritten in the lower corner. I'll mark where I saw it on your map. Assuming you're serious?
Why would a vicar be after a banned heretical book?
I just want to keep the writing out of layman's hands. It wouldn't do for such information to fall into public consumption.
You know a little bit more about this book before I agree to this.
It is not only a beautiful relic of a bygone time, it's also the thoughts of an early thinker on the nature of man's place in the cosmos. Not many in this colony could understand its true value, should they ever read it.
Alright, I'll keep an eye out for it.
Thank you. If you retrieve it, you can always find me here. Any progress on that matter we discussed? Please get it. What would you like to discuss? They who are not satisfied with their work are satisfied with nothing. No? How about, work fortifies the spirit. True exhaustion awaits idle hands.
Actually, about what your religion's all about.
The OSI teaches that the Grand Architect set a perfect system in motion at the beginning of time. Contentment is found by accepting one's role in that grand plan.
What does OSI stand for?
The Order of Scientific Inquiry, also known as scientism to the layperson.
How do you talk to this Grand Architect? Prayer? Meditation? What?
You don't talk to the Grand Architect. Once the universe was set in motion, it stepped back. It has no concern for us.
So what's your part in all this?
We will eventually decode the plan and all its intricacies. Once we are able to deduce the properties of every particle in the universe and its trajectory, we will know everything. The future, the past, each person's place within the plan, all will be laid out before us, removing struggle and bringing peace. No one will ever need question their path again. Some even believe this ultimate knowledge will unlock mankind's true potential, and we will all become akin to Grand Architects ourselves, after a fashion.
Tell me more.
Well, first there's the matter of the secret blood rites and animal sacrifices. I'm kidding. Seriously, though, to truly understand the metaphysics involved takes years of study and contemplation.
How do you know I was an outsider?
Not to put too fine a point on it, but your choice of wardrobe is not precisely common hereabouts. Also, you lack the distinctive worker gaze. Usually either a deadening behind the eyes, or in some rare cases, a wild-eyed frenzy, like a trapped animal. Pretty universal here. Except for Ms. Holcomb, who, for some reason, doesn't seem to have much to say to me. Isn't that right?
It's just... there's more to it all than numbers. Sorry.
I'm simply bemoaning the level of spiritual awareness in this town. Yes, it is. But it's my job, and I take it very seriously. I must double my efforts to elevate my flock. These are good, hard-working people here.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the power regulator. I already know about the power regulator.